Don't just go into making clothes, because this is why people think fashion designers are just there to make clothes. We can create artworks, for instance.
Oh. 99 FM, good morning. It's Cynthia Schimming in the hot seat today, but the seat is not scorching. It's just brewing with wisdom, with style, with flair, and with finesse, my darlings, because Cynthia Schimming is in the building. And Namibia boasts only a few people in fashion who deserve the title of icon, and Cynthia is one of them. And she's just an internationally renowned and award-winning fashion designer, clothing technologist, and she's worked in many different areas of fashion. She's worked as a model, sweetie, as a lecturer, and even a costume designer for film and theater productions. Cynthia, welcome.
My head is 10 kilograms bigger now. Thank you for that introduction.
Yeah, you look absolutely amazing this morning. This is how you wake up. I woke up like this. I just wake up amazing as you.
It depends on where I'm going to and where I'm going to work for the day. If I go to my studio, then it's my, khakis and comfortable shoes. But if I come to visit you, then of course I have to dress up, and then after this I will be in my traveling clothes going to Waterberg.
Okay, so let's take us a little bit back for us. Who is Cynthia Schimming? Where did she grow up? The history thereof.
Cynthia Schimming is a Namibian. I was born in Otjiwarongo by mistake. My mom was pregnant and she traveled with my father. And then I decided I love this place, and I popped out there while everybody was still in Windhoek. But I grew up in the old location. Yeah. Of course, they had to bring the baby back home. And in Kadutura. And I went to... At the age of 5, I used to go to the Herero School with my uncle Kapuo because he was a principal there. And then, of course, we moved to Kadutura, but we could not attend school in Kadutura because we were so-called coloreds, although I was Herero. And, I'm a child from Kadutura. I went to school in Kommersdal, and this is who I am.
Yeah, and how does someone who's been through all of that now all of a sudden just find herself into fashion? How did that happen?
I think I always had a passion for fashion. As girls, we used to make our own clothing for the dolls. Yeah. And I actually wanted to study arts and culture, drama. My passion was to go into the theater and act and sing and that type of thing. But in our days, parents decided for us what you will become, either a teacher, a nurse, or a doctor. And then, I went to university. I finished my matric. I went to the university for the first semester. And then there was an advert by Sam Cohen that there's a trip to the kibbutz in Israel, and somebody can apply. But I applied, and I ended up in a kibbutz for 6 months. My parents did not know about it. May their souls rest in peace.
Wait, where did they think you were for 6 months?
At the university. It was very easy. You write the letter, send it, put it in an envelope, send it to your friend in Cape Town. She puts it in another envelope, and then send it to Namibia. And this is how we did things. Because parents should not push children in the direction that they are not supposed to be.
Go,
But then when I came back from the kibbutz, I realized that I need papers to go home. So I took a crash course in, secretarial practice or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they paid the university. They realized that no reports are coming. Something is happening.
Something's going on. Yeah. And that exposure being in kibbutz, what did you learn about yourself and where ultimately?
Humanity, because you worked with children, and it was a time of when they had the raid on Intaba on Uganda. Yes. There was war. You work with sick people. You work in gardening. It was sharing and spreading the love amongst each other.
Must have been such a special time for you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now getting into the fashion industry finally, you're in Namibia. How has fashion really evolved since you came into the scene to now, you would say?
First, while I was working as for Balos, in the computer department. I was a model too for Errol Arends, and I was one of Namibia's top models. I was skinny and sexy.
Oh, you still are. You're still sexy. Still
And
sexy.
then this is where I found out that my passion is actually design. Although I love singing, design is my passion. And after 9 years in this industry, I decided that now it's my time to go and study fashion design. You know, when you find your purpose in life, when you know what's your purpose in life, then that thing that's giving you joy to get up every morning and to go into your studio and work, that is who I am, and this is why I still work at my age in this field. It has evolved. A lot of young designers are coming up. Even now, on the project that I'm working, we have young designers that's dressers, we have stylists in there, they are Namibians. And I'm glad that it's happening. We have, Roberto was one of my students, who's doing very well in Abisai and happy them. So there is it has evolved, but now with COVID, things are also changing. So we have to change with that.
Indeed. We're just going to put a pin on that just a little bit, play an ad, go to the music, and pick up exactly where we left off, because we're about to dive even deeper into her fashion style, her dream, and as well as her aspirations for the upcoming fashionistas of Namibia. 99 FM, still seated here with the iconic Cynthia Schimming. We left things off with her being oopsied and born in a wrong town altogether, but born and raised in Katutura, and how she found herself in Kabul and having to sneak letters to her friend to send those letters to the parents, because the parents had no idea what Miguel was actually up to and how that situation really just changed her life for the better. And she talked to us about the evolution of fashion, how proud she is of her students that she's lectured. You've worked with amazing people on big productions as a costume designer, Cynthia. What are your top 3 favorite sets that you've worked on in recent years?
Neoma, where others wavered with Danny Glover. Ooh. Yes, and then there was the movie Try, and Everything Happens for a Reason. And then, of course, the big thing that happened to us was Drive. It won an award.
Yes.
Yeah. It was the 10 days film, from script up to when you release it. In 10 days, there was no sleep. And then we won, what was the award? I can't even remember, with Caleb.
Yeah, but that's intense.
Yeah.
10 days and you wrap up and it's costumes changes.
It's from script to release, and we won that one. We took the prize from India or South Africa.
Yeah. There's also an iconic dress that you made that is in an exhibition at the Humboldt Forum in Berlin. How did you get involved in such a groundbreaking project?
You know, I was maybe I don't know. I don't even know how this whole thing happened. It could have been any designer, but the Museum Association of Namibia wanted to start fashion museum for Namibia, something like the Met. And then my colleagues decided that I'm the right person to go, because in the museum we have artifacts that were stolen or looted. So, and me being Herero, half and a little bit of German, they thought I was the right person to go. So for the first month I went, and then the others followed. It was not a beautiful experience. It was very traumatic to see things that were taken, to see necklaces ripped from little boys' necks, during the time of the genocide.
Of course.
In fact, I did not even want to touch the genocide. But then the museum that I was working for in Berlin, in Dahlem, they commissioned me to do a piece to go into the Humboldt Forum. In the beginning, I was very skeptical. I didn't want to do it, because for me it was the rebellion in me. You kept all these things for 100 years. Why do you want to display it in this castle now? To show the world that this is what you have, and it's your pride or whatever. And it's a very sensitive topic. It's not only about Namibia, Benin, Tanzania. They don't even want to put their things in there. We are not putting any of our objects in the vitrine. And I had to come up with something. As much as I didn't want to do it, I wanted the story to be told. This is why I have, the dress should not be the focus of the thing. It's what's behind it. The landscape, and that landscape, the inspiration came from a blanket that was donated by the Friedrichs family from Luderitz to Dr. Nachtigal. And the inspiration is the tortoise shell. And the tortoise shell has patterns.
Yes,
and those I
the
use,
tapestry.
Yes, I use as frames for the horrible pictures that was in the album. This guy, von Tettelbach was his surname. He came to Namibia to take pictures of people hanging while he's playing with his dog. Horrible pictures, and I had to show the world that the genocide really happened, because a lot of Germans still don't believe that. They think it was fiction and we are just talking nonsense. And I didn't want to display it in a brutal way. I still want my child or my grandchild to go to the museum and see the history that we are not taught and the Germans are not taught.
Either,
you know, and a lot of times I also ask myself, why is it that the genocide is pushed behind and the Holocaust is more important? Murder is murder.
Yes, it is.
And why do we give it a difference? And why are we not treated the same way as the Jews?
Indeed.
So this is why I came up with this, and it was about a landscape. They're talking about a blanket.
Yes.
This woman, faceless, is trying to, I filled it with the horrible stories. I had my Samuel Maharara on there. I had Witboy on there. And I'm just, they depopulated our landscape, so I'm filling it up with my people again. And I'm trying to break out of this vitrine so that I can take my people home.
Yeah. No, that is such a beautiful story whereby we tell our own story about our own history, because no one else will. Finally, unfortunately, we really are out of time. What is your advice to young designers on how they can stay relevant? Because the industry that you're in, the fashion industry, it's ever evolving.
Stay true to yourself, believe in your dreams, but don't get stuck in one place. Don't just go into making clothes, because this is why people think fashion designers are just there to make clothes. We can create artworks, for instance.
Oh, thank you so much, Cynthia. We would love to have you back, of course, and we would love to hear more about the productions that you're working on, but more so about the kids that you've inspired, because you've worked in this industry for such a long time, and you deserve all of the accolades that come your way. You've done an exceptional job.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for the coffee.
It was delicious. That's Cynthia Schimming, icon in the industry, a renowned award-winning fashion designer, clothing technologist, and just a hearty maiden in this fashion industry of Namibia.